What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below as it's completely free to do so. Remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. President Biden has just come out with a major announcement here on his new plan to fight inflation. I'll let you hear directly from the president here. He just took out a new article in the Wall Street Journal with his new plan to fight inflation. Remember that inflation is currently at a 40-year high, anywhere from 8.3 to 8.5% based on the last 2 months of data. And now that May is going to be coming to an end here, or is at an end here, we're going to be seeing the May data numbers here as well. Gas has come to an all-time high. We had seen a dip at the end of April, and we thought, well, maybe gas has peaked, but nope, gas has now soared to an all-time high as well, even though oil prices have not. Oil prices were much, much higher in March, like 25% higher, yet the gas companies are charging us the highest prices ever for gas now, even though oil was 25% higher per barrel in March. Yeah, figure that one out, because they're basically just charging us whatever they want to for gasoline and diesel. Yeah, I don't understand. But here is the President Biden's new plan for inflation, and then I'll let you hear from the president as well. So check this out.
President Biden plans to discuss high inflation in a meeting later today with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. The meeting comes at a time when prices are rising quickly on everything from gasoline and food to housing. This is the first time the two are meeting since Powell was confirmed to another 4-year term as chairman of the central bank. The Fed has faced some criticism for being slow to address inflation, which President Biden has tapped as his top economic priority. Meanwhile, the president has outlined a 3-part plan to tackle inflation in a new piece this morning for the Wall Street Journal. He writes, quote, "Americans are anxious. I know that feeling. I grew up in a family where it mattered when the price of gas or groceries rose. My plan has 3 parts. First, the Federal Reserve has a primary responsibility to control inflation. I have appointed highly qualified people from both parties to lead that institution. Second, we need to take every practical step to make things more affordable for families during this moment of economic uncertainty. The price at the pump is elevated in large part because Russian oil, gas, and refining capacity are off the market. We cannot let up on our global effort to punish Mr. Putin for what he's done. Third, we need to keep reducing the federal deficit, which will help to ease price pressures. I welcome debate on my plan to tackle inflation. I will work with anyone, Democrat, Republican, or independent, willing to have an open and honest discussion that delivers real solutions for the American people." Joining us now, Director of the White House National Economic Council, Brian Deese. Brian, good to have you with us this morning. I suspect you had a hand in the writing of this piece in the Wall Street Journal this morning, or at least inform the president a bit. Elaborate a little bit, if you would. What is President Biden going to say when he sits down with Chairman Powell today? And does the president believe that the Fed has acted too slowly on this problem?
Well, when the president sits down with Chair Powell, what he will reiterate is his commitment to giving the Fed the space and the independence it needs to do its job to tackle inflation. That may sound basic, but it has not always been the case. We've not had presidents in the past that have been clear about respecting the independence of the Federal Reserve. And so the president wants to do that clearly today and make clear that the Fed has the tools that it needs to address inflation while also sustaining our economic recovery. And I think that that's an important part of the president's message in the piece that he published today, which is that we are in this transition from what has been a historic economic recovery, historic in the jobs created, historic in the wealth created for American families. And now we need to transition to more stable and resilient growth, and that's what they'll be talking about.
Hey, Brian, good morning. Jonathan Lemire. So to pick up on your point that if the Federal Reserve is independent and if they're largely the ones in charge of this, what is the point of this meeting today beyond a photo op? And what measures are you guys, can the president actually take to combat what is a spiraling crisis?
Yeah, it's a great question. And look, it is standard practice for presidents and chairs of the Federal Reserve to meet from time to time so that the chair can share his views or her views on the economic outlook. That will happen today. And the reason to do it is to underscore that this president is committed to respecting the independence of that institution. But that's not the only issue. As you outlined, there are two other important parts of what the president is focused on. The first is bringing down costs for families. There's a variety of things that we can do and are doing on that front, lowering the cost of internet bills for American families, making it cheaper and easier to move goods from ships to trucks to railways so that people can get the things that they want cheaper. We're working on all of those pieces. And then there's important pieces that we need Congress's help on as well, like, for example, lowering the cost of prescription drugs. All of those things are our focus. Some of them we need Congress, some of them we can do on our own, but they're all focused on one central idea, which is how can we make things more affordable for families during this transition period? And then, of course, as Willie mentioned, lowering the federal deficit. This is a place where we've really made notable progress, more than $1.5 trillion reduction in the deficit just this year alone. We want to keep making progress on that front, have a set of proposals in front of Congress to do that. There's broad support among the Democratic caucus for tackling tax reform, so we hope we can make progress on there as well.
Brian, Elise Jordan here. I would like to talk to you about tax reform because in the op-ed, President Biden mentions that he will be taking on common sense tax code reforms. Specifically, it is outrageous in the outrageous unfairness in the tax code that allows a billionaire to pay lower rates than a teacher or firefighter. So what specifically is going to be done so that a billionaire does not pay a lower rate than a teacher or firefighter?
Well, first, we could move on the president's proposal for what he's referred to as a billionaire minimum tax, which would mean that if you have more than $1 billion in wealth, then on an annual basis, it would make sure that you pay at least 20% of your overall income in taxes. That would put a billionaire in a position where they're paying about the same rate as a teacher or a firefighter, but would be a dramatic change from today, where the typical billionaire pays only 8% of his income. And we could do the same on the corporate tax side as well. We have proposed, and the House has passed, a 15% minimum tax on corporations so that they pay a minimum, and we make sure we don't have the situation where you have 50 companies that made $40 billion in profit last year and paid $0 in taxes. Those types of approaches, a billionaire minimum tax, a corporate minimum tax, are the kind of common sense approaches the president's talking about. And like I said, there's got a lot of support congressionally, and we're hopeful that we can move that forward over the course of the next several weeks.
Brian, just looking at the proposals and the op-ed, the 3 points, while laudable in many ways, are kind of long-term thinking. Ending the war in Russia, bringing down the deficit, and even Fed action would be delayed some time. For people who are paying $5.50 a gallon and making difficult decisions in their homes about what to do and what not to do, and truck drivers who are saying, at the price of diesel, it's not even worth it for me to take this haul out on the road. What do you say to people hurting in the short term with inflation?
Well, look, as the president said, and as we will continue to reiterate, we get it. We get that these prices are hitting right now and that people are looking for some relief, which is why we're using every tool we have to provide relief in the immediate term, even as we work on some of these incredibly important medium-term issues. So I just give you a concrete example. The president used his executive authority to lower the cost of internet bills for 50 million families. That doesn't solve every pocketbook problem that families have, but it does mean that people can get lower cost and in some cases free internet, take one of the monthly bills off of the table. There are other steps that we can take right in the immediate term to try to get goods moving more quickly. Anywhere where we can take immediate steps, we're going to do so. But I also wouldn't undervalue the medium term. You think about something like housing prices, rent prices in the United States. If we start building more supply of affordable housing today, we are going to have an impact on the market, and we're going to solve this problem earlier than we would otherwise. So we have to focus both in the immediate term and the medium term.
Yeah, for the moment, it's the grocery store and the gas station where everyone's feeling it. Director of the White House National Economic Council, Brian Deese. Brian, thanks for being with us this morning.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on that. He talks as if they have already reduced the national deficit by $1.5 trillion. We will have to see or look into that because I don't think we'll have to see about that. But yeah, let me know what else you think. I mean, reducing the cost for Americans is really great, but being able to pass those things is a different story. We have Senator Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, who have not been very cooperative lately. We also have the Republicans who have not been very cooperative with passing things with the Democrats also lately. We have a lot of states that have been cooperative lately with passing bills here. But what can be done? You heard them say that they have, there's a lot of things they can pass on their own. They passed the 25% permanent SNAP raise here at the end of last year. They have another SNAP food stamp, food assistance meeting here coming up in a few months as well. And they potentially have a massive student loan forgiveness coming up here as well. And there's all sorts of things like this they could do. And also through executive order, really, there's a lot of different things they could do. Remember that former President Donald Trump did do stimulus checks or unemployment checks, whatever you want to call them. He basically sent out checks to millions of Americans. There were 6 checks with $300 per check to millions of Americans because there was money already approved by Congress just sitting around, and he basically just reallocated it. So theoretically, there is the same thing right now with somewhere around, at last count, $800 billion of unspent stimulus money already there as well. Okay. And this is kind of what President Biden plans to do with the student loan forgiveness, which multiple articles and sources are now saying is going to happen imminently at some point here in the very near future. There's very credible sources that work very close with the president saying that this $10,000 in student loan debt, student loan forgiveness is going to happen for potential 40 million plus Americans. So this is just another stimulus type program to help tens of millions of people here. So yeah, just yet another program here. So there is, and he can do that without Congress. Okay. And so there's really a lot of things that they can do without Congress. There's still the reconciliation card that the Democrats can pass without Republicans. Remember that the third stimulus package, the third stimulus check, the $1,400 check was passed. It also had rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, the enhanced child tax credits, which was $3,000 to $3,600, and also the monthly checks for children that was, paid out for a total of $3,000 to $3,600. Remember, you do need to file a tax return to get the other half of that. Okay, keep that in mind. But that was passed with Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema voting yes on that package. So I know they do actually vote yes sometimes, believe it or not. So I know it does happen. Yeah. Well, here's what President Biden had to say here today as well. Check this out.
I'm meeting with the chairman today and Secretary Yellen to discuss my top priority, and that is addressing inflation in order to transition from historic recovery to a steady growth that works for American families. Excuse me. And my plan is to address inflation. It starts with a simple proposition: respect the Fed, respect the Fed's independence, which I have done and will continue to do. My job as president is not to not only nominate highly qualified individuals for that institution, but to give them the space they need to do their job. I'm not going to interfere with their critically important work. The Fed has dual responsibilities. One, full employment, and two, stable prices. Chair Powell and other leaders of the Fed have noted at this moment they have a laser focus on addressing inflation, just like I am. And with a larger complement of board members now confirmed, I know we'll use those tools in monetary policy to address the rising prices for the American people. So I look forward to Chairman Powell's continued leadership at the Fed, and I look forward to the Senate considering my final nominee to the board, Michael Barr, in the near future. And that's why we're meeting, folks, and thank you for coming in.
Yeah, so we will have to see what the president, the federal government, and the Fed, and well, the Treasury Secretary of the Treasury, what they can do to bring down costs and bring down inflation here soon. We will also see what the May inflation numbers are here once May is over. You guys can let me know your thoughts, what inflation will be. The last 2 months have been 8.5% and 8.3%. But gas has gone higher since then. You can see here gas prices over the Memorial Day weekend, the highest ever in the history of the United States. The national average for gas here in the United States, $4.62 a gallon. $5.52 for diesel. So that's almost $1 higher for diesel. So that's, what is that, 90 cents higher for diesel. Remember that even if you don't buy diesel, you're paying for it when you buy food, when you buy groceries, when you buy anything, because that has to be shipped to a store via a semi-truck. But look at the price of regular gas, $4.62 on the national average. Just continues to go up. A month ago, it was $4.17. And yeah, just continues to go up. You can see here that that is the highest recorded price for regular gas ever. Ever. And not high off the highest recorded price for diesel ever. That was $5.57. We're at 5.52 here. Yeah, so we are currently at the highest price ever for regular gas. Also, you can see here the price of oil, the price of crude, starting to slowly drift up here as well. The highs for these was back in March. WTI crude was around 135. Brent crude touched over 140. So you can see we're still pretty well off our highs. I mean, we're $20 a barrel off both of them. So that's a little bit less than 20%. So you would think that gas would be almost 20% off the highs for that. But no, they're just charging us all-time highs, record highs, even though oil is slightly less than 20% below the all-time highs. So yeah, the oil and gas companies, BP, Shell, Exxon, just charging us whatever they want, even though the price of oil is not at an all-time high. Yeah. And if you're in the state of California, God bless you, because the price of regular gas there is $6.16 a gallon and $6.65 for diesel. Whoo! Yeah, that's a rough one. California gas prices are much, much higher because taxes are way higher there for gas, and they have a special blend of gas which to control smog and control pollution there. So that raises the price there as well. And yeah, this is the highest recorded price ever on average for California for both diesel and regular. 616 and 665. I know that that's the average. There's some places that are even higher than that in California. So, whew, yeah, I think Los Angeles here, you could is probably even higher. Um, yeah, 617 on average. Yeah, in San Francisco, 644 for regular and 690 for diesel. 690, almost $7 a gallon. Ouch. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts here. I will keep you up to date. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. It's one of one of the few things in this world that is free to do so. And I will keep you up to date here. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just did a new video on Social Security payout dates and new updates on Social Security, and a new video on stimulus checks. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.